Okay, so this is going to be a quick look at my Unit 4 questions. So let's begin with this. So question 1, groups like Citizens on Patrol, COP, and the Guardian Angels show support for their communities by organizing citizen-led foot and vehicle patrols, observing public areas, and reporting suspicious activity or crimes directly to law enforcement. Their ideology leans toward collectivism because they emphasize collective responsibility, community cooperation, and working together to maintain safety and security for the greater good of society rather than relying strictly on private self-interest and purely on formal police forces. So question 3, choosing peace brigades, international, PBI, my personal ideology fits well with their approach to nonviolent human rights defense. PBI volunteers provide protective accompaniment to activists and vulnerable groups in conflict zones without taking sides or using force. My belief in active, peaceful citizenship and protecting fundamental human rights aligns directly with PBI's commitment to collective global responsibility and nonviolent crime resolution. For question 4, Aboriginal people made significant contributions during the First and Second World Wars, volunteering for active service in high number despite facing systematic discrimination, legal barriers, and a lack of full citizenship rights at home. A concrete example mentioned in this chapter is Tommy Prince, an Ojibwe soldier who became one of Canada's most decorated Indigenous veterans through his service in the Devil's Brigade as a reconnaissance scout during World War II. For question 5, key values of citizenship that motivated individuals to oppose the war effort in Vietnam included civic responsibility, social justice, and peaceful dissent. Citizens believed that part of their civic duty was to hold their government ethically accountable, challenge unjust state violence, and uphold universal human rights over blind obedience to military policy. For question 6, the Orange Revolution in Ukraine was a series of peaceful protests, civil disobedience actions, and general strikes carried out across the country between late 2004 and early 2005. The primary motivation behind this peaceful revolution was to protest widespread political corruption and voter fraud in the 2004 Ukrainian presidential election, successfully demanding a fair, democratic, and transparent rerun election. For question 7, if I did not support my government's decisions on an issue, such as going to war, I would write letters and send petitions directly to my local members of parliament, my MP. I could also organize or participate in peaceful public protest and rallies to demonstrate public opposition while raising public awareness through social media campaigns, community forums, and published opinion pieces to persuade others and pressure elected officials. For question 8, the two speakers want the BC government to enact strict, legally binding legislation that protects endangered species and preserves wilderness habitats. They demonstrated their roles and responsibilities as citizens by exercising their right to free expression, engaging in democratic advocacy, and taking responsibility for environmental stewardship. They are demonstrating collectivist values by prioritizing the long-term health of the ecosystem, the public interest over short-term individual corporate economic gains. For question 9, a humanitarian crisis is a severe event or situation, such as a natural disaster, armed conflicts, or famines that threatens the health, safety, security, and survival of a large group of people across a region. Two humanitarian crises discussed in chapter are the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami and the conflict in Darfur, Sudan. For the tsunami, the Canadian government provided official aid funds and matched private donations, while Canadian citizens raised millions of dollars through charities and sent volunteer teams. For Darfur, Canada contributed diplomatic support, peacemakers, financial assistance, and refugee resettlement options. I believe this is how they should have responded, because a wealthy nation like Canada has a moral duty to global responsibility to assist vulnerable populations during catastrophic emergencies. So for question 10, Members of Eco Air demonstrate their citizenship rights by using their freedoms of speech and assembly to advocate for public health and environmental protection. They fulfilled their roles and responsibilities by gathering air quality data, educating local residents, and presenting evidence to City Council, successfully convincing the municipality to pass an anti-idling bylaw in Edmonton.